One. Hello, hello. Oh, I think that maybe it didn't come through in my earphones. Now y'all are getting the behind the scenes. And I'm like, was that my? Hold on.
I was on mute for a minute, so
Well, here we are.
yeah.
I can hear us. You can hear us. We're in here.
Yay!
Hi, everybody. That was a tech issue. And you'll know I don't be editing anything, so you're gonna hear it. And welcome to Sunday Shift. If you have not already, make sure that you like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We love
Mhm.
all of that, and we appreciate all of you for still rocking with us. It's been quite a ride, and we are still here.
And we're shifting on a
And we're
Sunday.
shifting on a Sunday. How are you doing, Tanya?
I'm doing pretty well. One thing I did not talk about last week
Tell me.
was I watched this show on Netflix called The Brother's Son,
Okay.
which is about this mom who who moves to the United States with her son
Hmm.
because she's in a mob, a Japanese mob,
Okay.
and she, I guess the triad, and she knows a secret,
Hmm.
and the secret could kill her, so she takes her son to the United States. But
As you do.
then, yeah, but then her um, husband, who's the leader of the mob, dies, and so her other son comes to the United States to keep them safe.
Okay.
And it was super. It's really engaging. There's 8 episodes. The reason why I'm telling you this is because the elder son is an assassin and he's really good at what he does,
Okay.
but he also has a softer side to him. He's like a good chef. And one day he was at
He's
home.
Jason Morgan?
No,
No.
these are all Asian people. And,
Okay.
but he's at home one day, and guess what he's watching? General Hospital. He was watching,
That's
and
amazing.
ironically, he was watching an episode about when Michael hires Dex.
Oh, my
And
ship met.
yes. So he was watching 2 episodes, and I thought it was hilarious because he was all into it. There was a scene with Michael and Dex and with Sonny and Dex,
That's amazing.
and he was
I
watching.
love when GH shows up in the wild, as I call it.
Right.
Because I started watching, I was late to the train, but I started watching All American.
Hmm.
And there was like one of the main characters started like volunteering at a nursing home or doing community service at a nursing home.
Hmm.
And she got close to a person who was watching General Hospital. And it was like the Nina Nixon Falls stuff.
Hmm.
And the people on the show were like, that's crazy. Yeah, I can't wait till Carly goes off. I'm like, see, this is the right reaction that this was crazy. I
Yeah.
just,
What? It was funny because he was like, it was when Dex is revealed as Michael's employee, and he's
which was a
like,
great twist.
yeah, and he was like, "Holy shit, that's crazy!"
I
And
had the
he's
same
in a mob,
reaction.
and he's in a mob too, so it's like he was all into
It's
it.
like, wait a second. Wait a tick.
Intrigue. So
You
y'all
know,
should, yeah. If anyone has Netflix, watch The Brother's Son. Michelle Yeoh is the mom, and she's
oh,
amazing.
she's always amazing.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I initially tuned in
Okay.
because of her. But everything else is super cute. It's funny at times, but it's
Okay.
also very dramatic. So yeah.
When I'm in the mist, like in the deepest of my depression bag, I can't watch new stuff. I have to like watch stuff that is like comforting that I know,
Hmm.
but I'm like I feel it on the other side of it. So
Hmm.
on I'm gonna watch the Vince Staples show and now I'll
Uh-huh.
put this in the second
Yeah.
rotation. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I love Michelle Yeoh. I think like what can't this woman do?
Hmm.
She's gorgeous and talented.
Hmm.
I'm here for her. So
Yeah. It was great.
okay, okay. I am still at East Coast time. I was on the road all week.
Mm.
So I just got back last night. I woke up
Uh-oh.
this morning at 5:30 a.m. and
Oh.
I've just been up. So I'm still so here we are.
Mm.
I'm actually not tired. I feel fine. And I probably will crash tonight around 8:30.
Loving your LeVar Burton shirt. I think his
Oh
birthday was
yeah.
recent. His birthday was
Yeah.
recently too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love
Mm-hmm.
LeVar Burton. Um, I met him a couple of years back. I went to a live recording of his podcast
Mm-hmm.
in San Francisco with one of my friends. And my friend Colin, his mom was a librarian. So he
Mm.
loves LeVar Burton. So LeVar had like given away, he was like, I'm gonna be in San Francisco. And this happens to me often where like celebrities will be giving something away
Uh-huh.
and on Twitter, and then I'll respond and they'll give it to me. I don't know why, but I'm like,
Oh.
let's go. So this has happened to me 3 times in total. So I guess, not a lot, but 3 times is a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I like won, and LeVar Burton DM'd me. He was like, send this email to my manager with the subject Kunta sent me. I was like, LeVar. So one of my favorite pictures of me, him, and it's like my friend Colin, me, and LeVar Burton, and I'm like taking a selfie of us, but somebody took a picture of me taking a selfie. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's my favorite. I had
Well,
this
the
like
next,
long flowing dress. I was
oh my
cute.
God, next time that happens to you, you know who to call.
Yes, I'll take you for sure.
Yes,
Um,
because I like going on. I tend to go on. I do things based off of relationships that I've earned via Twitter. So, like, I'm doing
yeah,
this podcast with you because of Twitter.
that's right.
One of my best friends that I've known for at least 10, 12 years, I met her because she said, I'm having a kickball game for my birthday. Anyone who wants to come can come. And I got on my bike and I went. And then
And
this week,
that's
and
so
that's how we
cute.
became friends. And then this week, a neighborhood association in Oakland was like, "We're doing a Valentine's Day scavenger hunt. Anyone can come." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and I made a
What a
video
meet
about it.
cute.
Yeah, so anyone that's on my social media can see I did an Instagram reel about my adventure in the neighborhood. And I didn't win because this apparently a young boy, a dad took his young boy and the little boy thought that he had to collect all the hearts and take a picture of a selfie with it. So when he found the hearts, he took them all with him. And it was in the
Ah,
morning, so I couldn't find any hearts. But I thought it was super cute anyway.
that's really cute.
Yeah.
And I
So
get
yes.
competitive with kids. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you win.
No, I just have fun, and so yeah, I go on Twitter adventures.
Aw. Yeah, I miss old Twitter. Like, I feel
Hmm.
like it's hard to do that now.
Hmm.
But, and even though I'm not on and I don't engage in soap Twitter really for real, I've met some people who I'm extremely close to via soap Twitter. So,
Hmm.
I
Shout out,
would never regret that.
shout out to Stephen King who refuses to call it X.
Absolutely. Insane, Stephen. Same.
Like everybody else. So
I will
yeah,
forgive you for scaring me my entire life because I don't like to be
right.
scared.
Because yeah, I don't watch anything that you do, but shout out for your hate against Elon Musk.
And is and
And
will and do.
right.
Um, so let's hop into GH. It was like one of those weeks where I was like, oh, this is not giving. And then Friday gave. Okay. So before we hop into a recap, because we're gonna do it like we did last week, where we're gonna just go through story by story. Who was your performer of the week?
I felt really great about the conversation that Ava and Shiva had.
Hmm.
Actually, I felt great about a lot of the scenes that Maura West was in this week. Because she had a great conversation with Trina.
Trina.
With
You
Trina,
got
yes, I
Oakland
do.
politics on the brain.
I do. I had a great conversation with Trina, talking about how, when she said, you and Avery mean the world to me. I was like,
Yeah.
I know this. I
Don't jump
know.
ahead. Don't jump ahead. We're gonna talk about the conversation. Okay. Go
Yes.
ahead.
And then the conversation that she had with Laura
Hmm.
and the conversation that she had with Joss.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Maura West for all of those great scenes. Also, shout out to Tracy. She had a brief scene with Gregory.
Hmm.
She was talking about the quarter means. She always goes back to the quarter means because no matter what happens, it always feels like home. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And then Eden McCoy,
Man,
man, and we can talk about it why. But y'all, if y'all watch the show, y'all know why
she gave it.
she
I was
gave.
actually okay. So let me also say, let me not skip ahead too, but I love a down bad lover boy. That is my thing. And Dex gave me what I needed.
Oh yeah, he was like,
I
"You gonna
said,
take
okay,
me?" Yeah.
Evan.
Evan gave. He's like, if I'm going out, I'm going out." Yeah.
Ah,
So,
I loved it. Okay,
mm,
let's hop into the week.
yes.
Um, let's start with Kevlar. So Kevlar adopts baby Ace. Martin comes over and is like, look, um, Nicholas said you should keep the baby. You need to keep him away from Heather, which I thought was weird. I was like, who is giving a serial killer this baby? But I guess. Uh, and Kevlar have a very cute conversation and decide to adopt him. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I was confused at first too because I was like, why can't they just apply for a temporary custody? Why
Right.
you have to take his like Nicholas' son away from him? And
Well,
then I was also confused because we didn't get to see it. Well, he pled guilty, but we don't know what the sentence is yet.
right.
So for
They
them to
haven't sentenced
make,
him yet.
yeah, so for them to make such a final decision about Ace's parentage, I was confused at that. But I'm glad for them. This is actually, I want to say typical. A lot of grandparents are taking their grandkids in and raising them.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that they had the conversation about it, like what that could mean to
Mm-hmm.
both their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that conversation. And I actually really appreciate the Kevlar relationship
Me
and
too.
how both of them are really considerate of each other when they're making big life decisions. Like every time Laura goes out of town, it's like, Kevin, what do you think? You know, so, like we know he's gonna be like, okay, or I'll go with you, or whatever. Like
hmm
they're a couple. They do things together. They share their lives. So I appreciate having those mature conversations within a mature relationship.
Right.
You know, so they are like,
Yeah.
they're kind of relationship goals, really.
Yeah. And they're both like super cute, like elder. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
elders.
yeah.
Like Laura's pretty. And this week, I don't know, hormones or something, but John Lindstrom looked good.
Well,
What was going
John
on?
Lindstrom is having a good life right now.
He is.
His book is best selling, and so
He's
he's
living.
he's living, and I'm thinking it shows in his performance. Well, even though that performance was probably weeks ago, but you know,
But he also loves his wife, him and Caddy
right?
McLean. Like
Yeah.
they're two Libras married to each other, so you know it's full of luxury and love. Um, like so, but he it was I said, okay, John Lindstrom, you really doing it. And maybe it was him holding baby Ace. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so cute.
Always
Um,
giving.
always. But yeah, I agree. I really do love Kevlar for who they are. I love having like a stable kind of elder statesman and stateswoman couple, right? And I don't say elder to be like they're old, but like that like maturity, that steadiness that comes from them. Because kind of like the people who are one step below them are so messy, you know? Like, so having them is so important. Um, I was annoyed with Liz. I'm not gonna hold you. This is part of the reason I've never liked Liz. What you mean you coming over to Laura's house and crying and complaining? You got off so easy. Not only did you like get off with nothing for what you did, but then the ghost of Epiphany absolved you from your wrongdoing and you got a promotion. And then you're gonna now come crying to Laura about how you don't want to. She just lost Spencer. Her son's in jail. Lucky is gallivanting around Africa colonizing. Like, and you had the audacity to come to her with your concern? Liz, get out of here. I was pissed.
Yeah, I actually was pretty surprised that it turned out she was concerned about her testimony. But she said, I'm concerned about Nicholas. I was like, yeah, because he's about to be in jail and he lost his son and he's losing his other son and he's grieving. Yeah, I'm glad that you still care about Nicholas after everything he's did. But no, she's like, I'm concerned that I got to give this testimony. I was like, okay, talk about making this all about you right now. you
The
know,
testimony that was a part of your
of your
deal
deal,
that
right?
helped you go free after you helped hold a pregnant woman in a tower. And I say this all the time, like there's a difference between like me calling out what was done because I feel like there's always like people who are like it's a soap, it's a soap. Yes, it's a soap, and like we have to have a baseline to realize when something is fantastical or trifling or whatever. And so the baseline is you actually don't hold pregnant women in towers. That's the baseline. Now, I loved it. I personally was like, yeah, hold her ass. Fuck ass man. Like, I loved it. I loved that Liz did it. What I didn't love was the trifling shit afterwards. You know, like how, not even to compare, but to compare, when Carly held Cyrus's mama, and people be like trying to throw that, like, she kidnapped Cyrus's mama. Cyrus's mom was living the life. She had Bobby Spencer, God rest her soul, as her private nurse. She had all the hummingbird cake she could eat. She was watching her stories. She was having a good time. She moved from a facility to a house with her own private nurse. She had an upgrade.
Yeah.
Esme was a prisoner in a tower. And when Carly let Cyrus, or when, you know, that thing happened when Cyrus got his mom back, she wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hold her. I feel so bad. Jason made me. No, she's like, I did that shit. And I'm sad
Mhm.
she got I'm sad she got found. And that's, you know, part of the reason I've never really liked Liz.
Because yeah, Liz is a it's kind of she's kind of a hypocrite,
Yes.
very much so, and that's always bothered me. Like she's
A
very
self-righteous hypocrite.
self-righteous hypocrite,
Because
and
like, you know, when shows go on forever, you're gonna always have a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite
right,
sometimes.
it happens. We're human. But to be like double down in your hypocrisy over and over and over again is crazy. And not recognize it in yourself, that's the thing. That's
Okay.
bothering.
Tired of it. But here we are. Also Cyrus coming over. I Jeff
First of all,
Colbert takes me out every single time because he's so like he's so sincere, but you also know he's full of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
and you
the
like there's like little subtle things that shows you that he is playing
full of
games
yeah,
even when he's being serious. So like when he's like, I'm trying to save people, that's my purpose, and Laura's like, what is your motive? And then he had this little look about him. He's like, all right, you got me. Kind of look
right,
on his face, but he didn't say anything. And
right.
I was just like, see, there it is. That's the tell. And Laura can always bring it out in him.
And so now Cyrus has a radio show.
It's hilarious. And that's something that I'm actually really gonna give props to the writers for thinking of it, because I'm just like, what can Cyrus do next? And they found it. They're like, he's gonna be on the radio show. Like, I was shocked by him being the instigator for Friends of Port Charles, and now he's like, now he has a radio show. And I'm actually looking forward to hearing. Like, I was actually a little disappointed we didn't get to hear the whole segment. Like, I want to hear him opening every week this week on on what's happening in Port Charles and how to save your life. Like, he should have like every Monday there should be like a little voiceover of him kind of giving commentary about life, and that's the theme for the week. That would be hilarious to me.
I'm also like, why is Cyrus stuck in like 1985? Like, why is he on a radio? And why does everyone have a radio? Like, who has a radio? Like, they couldn't even be like, oh, he has like digital radio that turns into like a podcast, like radio show. It's not an first of all, that's not enough for me. I need Cyrus to have like a Sunday shift style show because I need to see him on YouTube and I need him to have a podcast and I need it to be live. Like I need all of that because so much of Cyrus is in the subtlety of the looks. I need all of it. But yeah, again,
it
there go Nina with her foolishness because that's how you
but
got the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. But it reminds me of, they all watch this show, Christina Comes Home for Christmas or something.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that sounds like a really old school 80s episode watching, and they would all sit down and watch it. Like,
Hmm.
so yeah.
Yeah, that's
Poor
funny.
Charles be doing that. Poor Charles be doing some really old school stuff at the same time, and then everybody's watching it. And General Hospital kind of does the same thing, but it's more modern. Like they'll have they have this gossip reporter called Leanne
Young
something.
and the
And
Restless or
Young and the
oh.
Restless, yeah. And all of a sudden she comes out with she has her own gossip show, kind of like Entertainment Tonight, and all of a sudden everybody and their mamas tuned in. But I'm like, these are like really really rich folks sitting down watching gossip television. I was like, yeah, like it's really unbelievable to me, but all of a sudden they're all tuning in at the same time. And it's just like, okay, that's very random. So now they're
That's
all going to be listening
funny.
to they're all gonna be listening to Cyrus, and they're gonna all tune in because they
Yes.
can't help themselves. And so that's why we all need to hear the episode. Y'all need to have real episodes, General Hospital, and I want to hear it.
But that's also why I think I mean I feel like this can be talked about in a bunch of different stories that there is not that connection of other people knowing what's happening. So you telling me that Cyrus got a radio show and Sonny didn't hear it or Brick didn't bring it up? That's a big deal.
Well, hopefully they catch a clue next week. Maybe word of mouth. Maybe Ava will be like, "We got to talk about this." Maybe when Sunny and Ava are having breakfast, Ava will be like, "Have you heard Cyrus radio show? An episode's on right now." And they open it up and they're listening to the show, and everybody around town is tuning in. I'm giving you some notes, writers.
Come on, Liz and
DM
Pat.
us.
Come on. Come on, Liz and Pat.
It'll be
Uh,
funny.
so next thing, Milo makes up. So Milo, Michael and Willow, he stays over. Um, she said, let's make it permanent. They have their talking to. I did find something really interesting that he said, which was more like, you could handle a lie, but my dad couldn't handle the truth. I was like, Michael, that's a little bit of a bar. Like, okay. And it's true because Sonny really cannot handle it. He
Mm-mm.
is not like Willow and Carly, I feel like love Michael unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny's love for Michael is so conditional. And it's only based on when you're doing right. And so I just felt like I don't particularly like Milo as a couple, mostly because I just kind of find them kind of boring. I think that one of the things I've heard people talk about is that they want like they're clearly trying to write Willow as like this Lila character. The reason Lila was interesting is because Edward was interesting because Edward was like a mess. And if you're gonna have Michael kind of be this like mostly straight laced vanilla character, having him with like Willow, who's angelic, kind of isn't. It doesn't give for me.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they don't really know what they want Michael to be. I think like he can be a mess sometimes too, but then he always gets pulled back into being the good guy because he'll feel guilty. Like it was interesting because he was saying to Sonny, he's like, "Yeah, I wanted revenge. I wanted to take you down, But at the end of the day, it was just like I had to be loyal to the family. And then Sonny was like, loyal to the family. But I'm like, yeah, everything you taught him to be kicked back in after he got initially over his, tantrum. But I'm just like, the writers, Michael becomes interesting when he becomes devious or vengeful or whatever, but we can never really trust it because he'll always come, quote unquote, to his senses and forgive everybody. And so that, I think that kind of dichotomy is I don't know, probably frustrating to a lot of fans because we don't really know where Michael's going to be. Is he going to be the good guy or is he going to be the ruthless businessman or
Right.
what? And so, but either way, I'm okay with Milo. I'm not necessarily like, oh my god, this is the it couple, but I'm
No.
okay with them being together.
Yeah, I
And
don't care about
so,
that.
yeah, so it's
I'm not
it's
offended.
yeah, I'm not, they're okay.
Like how I'm
Um,
offended by Liz and Finn, that's offensive.
yeah, that's offensive.
Milo is not that. To your point about Michael, though, I mean, part of the reason that they don't know what to do with him is because Michael has truly only been there to serve Jason, Carly, and Sunny's
And
story.
Sunny, yeah.
Like that's always been Michael's never had his, I mean, we've talked about this a lot. He's never even had like a friend group. So at least
Hmm.
like if you think about Josh, she has like a scene, like a teen scene, or she had like a young adult scene. Even before that, they had like the little kid scene where Cameron, Spencer, and Emma and Josh, like, and those were all legacy kids. Like they
Hmm.
had like a little scene. Michael never had that. He was kind of on his own, and then he had Morgan. And so Michael would have a girlfriend or a partner, but he didn't have like a peer group. That's
Right.
why I think I was so excited about his friendship with Chase. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is really cool because Michael's never really had a friend.
Hmm.
Like his friends were Sam and Jason. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And like he's had stories, but like I said, his stories were a consequence of his parents' actions. Like,
And they served
um,
them.
they served them. Like
Mhm.
the really meaty, juicy story of Michael being in prison, which is where we got introduced to, this current iteration of Michael. That was like juicy as all get out. And it was great. And he had some really meaty lines and all that.
Yeah,
But
he won an
again,
Emmy for that.
he won an Emmy. Chad Duelled it. But it was like you said, it was a consequence of him being in adult lives and being and serving an adult role. It would be interesting for him to actually hang out with his peer group and just have a normal interaction with people his own age. I mean, even
Right.
like right now, we're talking about his friendship with Drew. Drew is still an older man.
Right.
he's
His uncle.
he's his uncle, right? So I'm hoping we get to see more scenes with Chase because they're couples, and so I hope we get to see them having more interactions. And Sonny, get over what Michael did so Michael can get on with his life and be a normal guy his age.
Right. I mean, but even when you think about like, I mean, I'm glad Dex came in. Like,
Right.
I like Evan as Dex. I like Jex, but that was done
Hmm.
to like balance out Sonny picking Nina over his family because they can never have Sonny be completely wrong. He has to be whatever. And I think you actually see that, to be quite honest, in some of Mo's performances because Mo
Hmm.
is like, and even the way he talks about his character, like we talks about it, if you go back and watch his interview with Chad on State of Mind,
Hmm.
it's all about like he always thinks Sonny is right. It's always Sonny's point of view. And
Hmm.
I think it's hard for him, or it at least appears to be hard for him when people don't like Sonny or when people think Sonny is wrong. And
Hmm.
so, with how everything was written, with Steve being gone and him just cheating on Carly because there was no Jason, with him choosing Nina over Michael, people were mad because like this whole week and when he talked about code, 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 you broke your code over and over again for this woman who like hurt your family, and we like people were turning against Sunny, and so the only way to like flip and have like something on the other side of that for people to point at so that Sonny wasn't all wrong was that Michael was trying to take him down. So that wasn't even something that was like good for Michael's story or like built Michael as a character. It was about like making sure that Sonny at least had an out so that people could have like, oh yeah, well, Sonny's family isn't all right. Look at them, kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, next story. Oh, also funny line when Willow was talking and when Josh came over, like, oh, what's going on? Um, and Willow was like, well, Michael can make you some coffee. And Michael's like, you want some coffee? She was like, no, I want the tea.
Tea. Like, I want the loan. What's going on?
I said, oh, I know that's right, Josh. Um, that next thing, Lucy and Martin over for real. So Lucy sees Tracy at the Metro Court, um, admits her infidelity with Scott. Um, she goes to find Martin at Laura's house. Again, a lot of people not caring about Spencer being dead because they go into Laura with a mess. Um, but so Lucy goes to Laura, finds out Martin's left, finds out Martin is on a plane, goes, does too much at the counter, and misses Martin on the flight. Here is my thing. Why are they acting like this is like truly the end of anything? Girl, you rich. Go find him.
I was wondering what was the point of the airport scene if she was gonna miss him. That's like
Right.
wasted. That's wasted set and time that could have been spent on another story. Like if she's gonna have to go through the whole airport scene, at least let him see her and then be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it," and
Right.
then go back. Like have there be some sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Martin's like not trying to deal with the whole Scotty and Lucy mess, and I don't blame
Which,
him. I don't blame him.
come on now.
He deserves better. I think. Sorry.
I loved when Tracy said that Lucy and Scott were having an affair on an installment plan. I threw my phone. Tracy, why would you say that? Yeah, I
It's true.
laughed.
She's like, that was funny to me. She was like, "Oh my god, you did actually sleep with him."
Then when she was talking to Gregory and had to admit that she messed with Scott, he was like what? And she was like, blame it on the 90s. Tracy was so unintentionally and intentionally funny this week. Just like Jane Elliott is a treasure. You know what I'm saying? Like when she's around, it feels like GH. She's so quick witted. She's so funny. She has such good scene chemistry with everyone. I don't even like Gregory, but I like Tracy's scenes with Gregory. She's so good. Like, so just, I love Tracy forever.
I agree. I think I like what he brings out in her. Even though, she is softening a little bit, she's still her.
Yeah,
And I enjoy it. And I think he doesn't like at first he was super offended by her, but now he's like, okay, this is her.
I get it.
Yeah. So I'm like, I like that. I like, and I'm hoping that, they do pull out a miracle in this disease. So
Oh,
I
I
don't know,
don't hope that.
maybe, well, I don't know. I'm just like, well, yeah, because it wouldn't be true. It wouldn't be a really good, soaps be soaping, and I'm willing to suspend belief in order to get this story over with because I don't like it.
Uh,
Um,
you
so
remember on Empire? Did
mhm.
you watch Empire?
I watched a little bit. I stopped watching. I forgot, maybe after the third season. I don't know.
Everyone
Yeah,
did. Everyone
yeah.
did. But at the beginning, do you remember Lucius had ALS? And then they were like, just kidding, it's not ALS.
I don't remember.
Like, I remember this. I was like,
So yeah,
okay.
that's the kind of ridiculousness that will I will accept in order to get out of this storyline. Because first of all, I don't know if you had this on the list. One of my hot takes, little spots, was Miss Violet talking about, okay, I just need to go to my room and process this. I
Process.
was like, little girl. I'm like, I know that, Finn probably talked to you like an adult half the time, but she really like, I just gotta go to my room and process. And then the next breath, they're like, she probably doesn't know what ALS means and all this other stuff. But she's a really smart girl. I'm like, yeah, because she really knows her vocabulary. I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually next on the list like that they told her. But so like I feel like because how old is Violet?
I'm thinking she's supposed to be what, 7, 8?
I don't know. But it just felt, I don't know, whatever. They told her, but they didn't tell her he was terminal. They didn't explain all of that. They just kind of explained like the degenerative nature of it and that he was going to be sick and all of that. Um, it's hard to care. He could go. He could take Finn with him. The only Chase I really care about is Chase. Um, you know, whatever.
I would care about Violet a lot more if Hayden came back and she just took her daughter away from Finn, because Finn is just like
Take your daughter and then both of y'all leave.
I don't mind Violet. Violet's cute. Some people think she's annoying. That's fine.
I am
Um
people.
so but I just thought it was a little much for her to be like, I just need to go and process. I'm like, girl, uh-uh. I
Yeah,
don't know if they're trying to make her be a little precocious like they did Spencer when he was a little boy. A lot of people thought that Spencer was annoying too.
I
Um,
was not people. I loved Spencer, obviously.
but
That was my kid.
a lot of people did not like that about him. They
But
felt he
he
was too grown and too bad, and he talked too much like an adult and all this other stuff. I remember, but I loved him.
but I think the difference, so like for me, the difference is, I mean, first of all, Spencer wasn't just some made up kid. He was legacy. But also, and not to be snotty, but I do love a legacy character. Sorry. Um, it was also that's like Violet is so blatantly put there to make Finn likable. So it's like I personally buck against that because I'm like, no. Like I don't like him. And this little girl is not gonna make me like him. Like, so it's like, is she like somebody who understands she has to go to her room to process, or is she somebody who needs like make believe tea parties? Like it's not even like they're like we're making real tea and crumpets and we're whatever for her because she's a little, snotty. Because that was me as a kid. I was like, oh no, I have a tea set. We're not making make believe tea. We're having high tea. Thank you. Mom, cut the crust off these cucumber sandwiches. Thank you. Like that was me. So if that was the thing, like was she too big to be like we have fake tea? With Spencer, that he was really out here, like even like when they were remembering him, they was like, you remember when he stole that election? Ha ha ha. Like he was actually like
Remember when he came out in the Phantom of the Opera?
one of my favorite Spencer moments, to be honest.
Right.
Like, what? Why would you do this? Anyway, but like, if you haven't watched that scene, if y'all don't know Little Spencer, it was like Emma and Cameron, because Little Spencer and Cameron fought over Emma, and they were dancing at the nurses' ball, and Little Spencer came out, and he had like a video, like the Phantom of the Opera. This is after his face got burnt, and he was talking crazy, and then he like dropped some paint cans or something around him. He was doing a lot, but it was like he was actually soapy, like not let come like my parent, please.
The Chupacabra.
Yeah.
That fiasco.
I mean,
But it
not
was funny because it was very much integrated into the plot of another story.
that's right.
So yeah, so it was that was an interesting yeah, because they were hiding was that they were hiding Robin or something there. And they hurt in the catacombs or something was
Mhm.
happening down there and they all thought it was a chupacabra. Those were the days.
Those were the days. They were something back then. And I
Yes.
think, I mean, and this actually like takes us into the story about Trina's grief, but I think part of what happened with Spencer is that I don't know if it was because they knew that Nicholas was leaving, like Nicholas Chavez was like leaving for his show, but they stopped progressing that character. So even when they talk about all of the things about him, so much of the stuff that they talked about when they remembered him is stuff that wasn't Nicholas Chavez because they weren't giving him anything. He wasn't in school, he wasn't working. He was basically like a babysitter, fake baby daddy to Ace, and that was it. And I worry about what's happening with Trina because I don't see what they're doing with her. Um, I will say, like you said, in like Performer of the Week, that conversation between Trina and Ava really broke my heart because it was and I GH is doing like something really weird and like just skipping over it. She really said, I wish that it would have been me. That's concerning. Why aren't we like looking more at that? Like that's real. That's not there so sorry that happened to you. That's I'm gonna call your mama to make sure that you okay. That's I'm bringing your people together to like make sure that like somebody is watching you, feeling you, you feel protected, you feel supported. I just feel like because they didn't know what they were doing with the two of those characters, they also don't know what to do with Trina's grief. And that's really unfortunate because they could be telling a really powerful story and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I predicted that, I think everything as far as the Spencer storyline is going to be on hold until he comes back. I mean, even those who are part of his world, everybody else is going to be on hold too. And unfortunately, that
Mhm.
means Trina is going to be on hold, um, which is sad. So, yeah, that is concerning. And so I'm hoping that they bring aspects of her actual story back into the realm. Like, please again, y'all, bring back her real dad. So that could be like he could also be a part of the grief because like he
Right.
would as soon as he knew what was happening with Trina, he would come down and want to be with her and want to support her
100%. And we haven't even heard him mentioned.
at all.
Like they just but this is what I be talking about erasing
Mm-hmm.
black characters. Taggart is a long time character. He's not even like he was here a long time ago. He was gone. He came back, and they're literally erasing him out of his story. That's
And
insane.
he could be part of stories that we have brand new characters or brand new actors here to do that we don't even really care about. Like John, whatever, Cates. I don't care about
Jagger.
him. Jagger, I don't care about him. Taggart could be in this story if you
Mhm.
want to give him something to do. He should have been the police commissioner. Don't get me started. Anyway, he could be in this story. He could have full fledged story with Trina. He can have a police investigation. He could be getting on Sonny's nerves, or he could be helping Sonny figure out who's killing him. He could be integrated in the whole landscape. So many different ways he could be on, as part of GH. And they're letting this man, a really great actor, fall by go.
Yep.
It's crazy to me.
Hmm. Like an actor that grounded Trina to the show. Because when Trina first came on, we knew she was Taggart's. And then they brought on, when they fake killed him, they brought on her mom. And it was a big deal that it was Brooke Carr because Brooke Carr is like soap legacy, soap legend. So it's like, oh snap, like this showed a real investment in that character when you brought on somebody who was like that caliber of a soap actor to like play Trina's mother. So to like wipe that away for Curtis, when really it should be adding on. Like, even if you wanted to make Curtis her biological father, that's fine. We have seen people like be in relationship with their biological parent and with their birth parent. Like, you know what I mean? Or with their like parent. Like, we've seen that. It there was no reason. This should actually just be additive to Trina's life, additive to Trina's story, not something that took away from it. That's crazy.
And the way that they played it, whereas Trina was always concerned about how Taggart felt throughout the process, telling him over and over, you're going to be, you are my dad, he's just my father, all of these things. Her concern for him, even before the whole, paternity fiasco, when when Sydney was playing her, she was angry at the whole world because her dad was gone. And
Right.
then she was angry at him when he came back. So there's
Right.
like real emotion and feelings between Trina and her dad. And for that, and Taggart, and for that to be just dropped all of a sudden is real disservice to Trina as a character, to us as fans that have been watching her ever since, to us as
Mm-hmm.
fans of Taggart and
Yeah.
that whole family. It's very bad, and I'm hoping that the new writers do something about that.
Right. We could have a story where she's like, she doesn't want to talk to anybody but Taggart. And so everybody is like, wants to be around her, but she just wants to talk to him. But there's no way that we should see her in this time pushing away family or not um embracing that or not having them embrace her. It's just like I said, like we've both said, like you just said, a disservice to the character, a disservice to the story, and it's a way to take away like the voice and the agency of a Black character. um it's part of the reason I think I said this last week. I'm gonna continue to press on this. I know that a lot of people don't like Portia, but part of the way that you come on as a character and the way that you get story is when people want to see like your whole like atmosphere, like everything around you, your whole ecosystem. And if people don't want to see her mom, that takes away from her story too. Or if we're advocating for like, oh, we want more Black women to have stories, but then people are like, well, Ava's better for Trina. I want to see Ava with Trina and not Portia. It's not that Portia has had good writing. It is that we should be advocating for Portia to have better writing. You are not required to like Portia, but you should then be asking the question, why have they given her unlikable writing? Why have they not invested in this character? Why have they, like treated her and put her in this category by herself of like anti-Sprina when everybody else was pushing it, and then like alienated her against a fan base? That's a question to ask, and some writing to like address and to fix, not to be like, well, I'd rather see her with Ava. It's I'd rather see her with her mom with better writing if you don't like Portia's writing. That's not my case. I think that if I we talked about this last week. I think Portia is fine with her concern, but I think that they also should give her a better story. Her like anyway, all that to say, we talked about this before. Um that you have to build up all the Black characters in order to build up Trina. Uh
Yep, agree.
anyway, I just feel like I'm a broken record, but Granny Wars now include the magazine wars. Um, so Carly and Drew show up to Crimson and Nina. This is why I have a blank background. Crimson is under construction. Nina says that there was flooding, something, something. She pays off like the contractor to like go longer. Um, Car to like make it so that Carly's The first issue was messed up. Um, with that, Drew gets upset. He starts calling all these people who would work with Nina on like a separate magazine using his Aurora power to like make them choose. Seems like we see people are siding with Aurora and with Drew. Um, Drew then has another confrontation with her and tells her, after Carly's like, I just don't want to deal with her no more, and tries to buy out her shares of the Metro Court. Nina is upset about it. How do you feel about the Granny Wars now including print media?
I don't know. I mean, you've said it before, and other people, I think, are glad that Nina is not backing down, quote unquote. I just feel like now it doesn't have like as big of a stake to me for me to be invested in it. Like, I thought, the big secret of Nina turning them in, or of Carly knowing that Nell was her daughter. I mean, those things had real gravitas. And so it felt like something really big was going to go down because of these two fights, and it made it serious. And now it just seems like pettiness going back and forth. And people are alarmed at how much Drew is wanting just even though he has every reason to be angry, but it just seems like, well, I'm just gonna bring her down. And I'm like, for what? To what end? For what? And why should I be invested in it? I'm just like, I'm not feeling that big investment in them as rivals, not in the same way as Carly had a rival with Ava, or even with Elizabeth or Sam. Those I felt like more like those are really meaty, juicy rivalries. I'm not seeing that so much with Nina. And I think Nina, like I said, I feel like Nina should just sit down, live her life, and let it blow over. Um, that's what I would like to see. Let her figure, like, I would be interested if there's like some sort of, thing. I know you probably don't want to see it because, and no one wants to see it because we love Anna and Valentine, but I want there to be some intrigue. Like, if she's gonna do a romance with Valentine now, I don't know, and have it be like a big old fight, a quadrangle with Sonny and Anna and Valentine and Nina. I don't know. I would find that more interesting than Nina bringing down Carly in this magazine. Personally, I know. Look at you shaking your head, like, oh
No,
no,
no, no.
no.
I mean, whatever. Like, I'm
But
gonna
I'm
watch
just
it no
like,
matter what.
I would be more interested in that than what I'm seeing between Nina and Carly, personally.
Well, it's really not with Carly because Carly has said she don't want no parts of this. My problem, of course, here we go. I'm going to talk about how much I don't like Nina. So sorry for the listeners who are tired of that. I actually thought the tit for tat was kind of funny. Like, I'm gonna mess up your magazine and then he's gonna do whatever, like he's gonna just ruin her day. I I'm not necessarily interested, but I thought it was like I was amused. My problem with Nina continues to be this like I'm a baddie, now I'm not. So, prime example is, Drew was like, whatever, like, I'm over it. You should leave town. Um, Let me buy your magazine. And then they walk off, they're arguing. Valentine walks over and he's like, what's going on? And she was like, Drew's trying to take my magazine from me. What? That's not what happened.
He's trying to take the hotel.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
hotel. But
yeah.
like, that's not what happened. He offered to buy the hotel from you. You
But you
can
were
say
gonna give
no,
away. You were gonna give away anyway.
but she wasn't. Like, this is the
Yeah,
thing that made it
like,
like so
yeah.
back and forth. And it's also why fans, I think, so, I like popped on. I was on a flight yesterday. That's why I'm like moving because my back is killing me because I flew from the East Coast. Um, I was like just looking at Soap Facebook, a mistake. And somebody had like was like, yeah, Sonny and Carly and Michael should be da 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 da, and then they said because Carly and Michael wanted Sonny in jail, so he doesn't owe them anything. And then like the fans of whatever, the people who hate Carly were like, yeah, that's right, Carly da 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 da. I'm like, you are operating with a different set of facts. I can't have a conversation with you if these are a different set of facts. Michael wanted Sonny in jail. Carly never, not once, and was very clear that if Sonny went to jail, their whole lives would be like destabilized. She's never wanted him in jail. So this idea that like you just can say anything, I feel like it comes from the show that you can just make shit up and then like argue on these facts. So like she's like, and there is a difference between a woman telling a man like, or telling Valentine, like Nina telling Valentine, he's trying to push me out, he wants me out of town, he's trying to buy my magazine, versus, or not magazine, my hotel, versus he's trying to take my hotel from me. Those are two very different things. And she knows it. And she's so manipulative that the language matters. But because I hear it, because I don't like Nina, this is what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, yeah, look at her being manipulative. Look at her, whatever. But then people on the other side are like, look at him trying to take her hotel from her. We're operating off a different set of facts. Like, that's not what happened. And so, like, for me, that I think that the show, usually when we write something or something, they want us to like remember or to know, they repeat it. Different people talk about it, you hear it. The show doesn't do that now. So they just have people operating from different sets of facts, and like on one side, like, Nina, you committed a crime. Nina, you didn't just commit a crime, bribing off Cyrus. That wasn't a crime. So if somebody found that out and then turned you in, you wouldn't be mad and you wouldn't want to get even. She just like does stuff and she's like, what? Why are you mad that I did this thing to you? Well, you were wrong. I just turned you in. I don't care. You turned me in. Now I don't like you. I went to jail. I'm blaming you. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm blaming you because I got my ass whipped in jail and now I'm taking everything from you. This is not hard to grasp. Of course, this is how somebody would behave. You pretended like there was construction on the hotel. You pushed back my magazine. You're being petty, so now I'm gonna go be petty too. Why are you confused that I'm matching you? That's the thing. If she was like, oh, he did that, let's go. Tit for tat. Now I'm gonna do this. You did that, I'm gonna do this. I would be more into it. But her acting like, I can't believe that you would do this to me. How could you not believe it? Why wouldn't you believe it? This makes perfect sense that he would act this way. That's my anti-Nina rant.
The line that got to me, she's like, I am sick of everyone just dumping on me the injustice of being treated this way. And he was like, injustice? Did you get thrown in jail? No. She still has not felt, yeah. He took the magazine away. That's pretty much it. She lost her husband because of her own lies. She
Right.
could have told Sonny everything. And Sonny would have been like, well, I wouldn't recommend it, but okay. But,
No, he
but
still would have been mad.
he would have been
You
mad, but he didn't like, she lost him because of her own behaviors, not because of what Carly did,
right.
you know? And so, she lost everything on her own. Whereas everything that happened to Drew happened well, not everything because he chose to go to jail. But I'm just
Right.
saying, you know, I think, yeah, she's crazy and annoying. And I
Yeah,
wish she would just sit down.
it's just also like I feel like these arguments that are being made on her behalf just kind of don't make sense. It's like they broke the law. Okay, and what? What are we talking about? If I broke the law and you turned me in, you my op. What are we saying? If I was gonna get away from something and you was like, well, I just don't like Tracy, so I'm gonna turn her in. It didn't hurt me, didn't hurt you, didn't do anything. You just didn't like me, you turned me in. You're my op. I don't get it. I don't understand what's hard to like grasp. She wasn't in the right. And if you stood on it and was like, yeah, my girl was being petty, oh well, not my girl was in the right. She wasn't in the right. I mean, it's not that she was necessarily in the wrong either, but she wasn't in the right. Anyway, let's move on. Because we'll come back to a little bit of this in the next story, which is Sonny confirms that Dex is a mole. Not the mole, but a mole in his organization. So Brick obviously finds out Dex got these two payments. They think that they realize the timing coincides with the shootings for Sonny, and they believe that Dex was essentially playing both sides. Dex ends up getting in the car. They took his ass to the Pine Barrens. They was gonna ball him up. Carly finds this out and rushes to save Dex. Joss also then finds out that they know, or that everybody knows, she wants to save Dex. Sonny and Michael showdown, which is basically Michael begging for forgiveness from Sonny, and Sonny being like, when Michael walked in, he was like, "Hello, Judas." I said, "Bro, you're not Jesus." Like, how dare you? But yeah, Michael like begs his forgiveness, and Sonny was upset. Let's talk about that, and then let's talk about the Jex of it all. So let's talk about the Carly Michael stuff, and then let's talk about Jex. How did you feel about this? Like, what were you thinking? What was your feelings about this?
I was like, it's about time. Because I felt some kind of way about Michael going and apologizing and being honest when he wasn't being honest about everything. Because, so finally it's out in the open. There are no secrets from Sonny anymore. And well, I like the idea of Michael hiring Dex to take Sonny down as a revenge thing. I don't see it as a I didn't see it as a necessary thing for Carly and Michael to keep Dex in, except as a kind of a need to do so now that he's in and you can't really explain why he's out. But um it really came to a head where Sonny was like, well, you didn't think I was competent enough to run my own organization? I
And you
wish they
weren't.
would have been like, yeah, actually, we didn't think you were competent enough to run your own organization because you had a dual personality. You also did not have Jason. You married some woman and betrayed your family, your code. That you betrayed your own code,
Talk about it.
which is part of who you are, is part of what is important in your business, is to have a code, and you broke the code.
Yep.
So yeah, we didn't trust that you could do it on your
And we were
own.
right because your dumbass had a mole in your organization for
Right.
however long the Dex was there.
And you were making a decision to be involved in gun trafficking, which you had always said that you would never do, and you did. So I guess they were right. But at the same time, yeah, I didn't feel like Michael and Carly were wrong per se. Now I understand why Sonny feels betrayed, because he's being
Sure.
betrayed left and right by
Sure.
by Nina and Michael and Carly. But at the same time, he has to see the wisdom and why they did all these things. But he's just gonna be mad. He's gonna be mad. That's fine. Let him be mad. It doesn't sound like the kind of mad that he was when um when he's been mad at them before. I think he's gonna be upset and he'll eventually forgive them because they're family, and he should.
I don't know. So, I mean,
Like,
I
but
actually,
I believe what Michael said. Who does he have? Now it sounds like he might be having a.
Right. It doesn't like the 97 Ava.
But as far as they were concerned, who does he have? He doesn't have Michael anymore. He doesn't have Carly, and he's getting rid of Dex. Who does he have? And I think some people are saying I think it is going to be Brick,
That's the mom.
or or like I previously said, it's Jason.
I don't know about that. I mean, it could be anything. I think that we also are in a point of influx, and so there
Mm-hmm.
might have been like an idea that it's one person, and then it ends up being somebody else. So that's why I don't even want to guess, because I think it's just like when they did the last serial killer, not Heather, but the one before that,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like turned out to be like Dylan's dad, Paul Hornsby, and that didn't
Oh.
even make sense because like he it couldn't have been possible for one. Even with Heather, it never made sense. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate who it's going to be or what's going to be, because I think that they probably just are now figuring it out themselves. And so any clues that we thought we had are actually not true because everything's a misdirect. Um, Here's what I'll say. I don't think Michael should have told Sonny about Dex, because that would have put Dex in danger. So like when Michael apologized for everything, it makes perfect sense that he didn't say anything about Dex. I also it I understand why Sonny was upset, especially considering like Nina betrayed him. And yeah, people don't I would rather hear him talk more about feeling undermined than feeling betrayed. That's what I would, because as we've said, every part of his code, he has been, what part of the code is going against your own son in court because your mistress wants to see his kid? What part of the code is that? What part of the code is cheating on the wife who held you down when your mistress had you balled up in Nixon Falls? Like literally the mob kept going because of Carly. Not even because of Jason. Thanks, Liz. Because of Carly. That's why the mob kept going. And so here you are. And this is kind of the conversation I have been wanting to have, but I wanted it to more be had with his like competitors or other mob people, which is you were making decisions that made everyone concerned for you. You threw away your family. You got with and married the woman who kept you away from your family. And I think that part of the problem, and with like the whole fallout from Nixon Falls, is they tried to sell it as like this love story and there was nothing wrong with it, as opposed to like really naming that this was actually a mess, not and that he loved her anyway. Like they kept trying to treat it like a love story. Like they were like, "Oh, let's go back like we were in Nixon Falls." They brought back Ghost Lenny to tell Sonny to cheat on his wife. They were like dancing like they were in Nixon Falls, as opposed to like, let's actually realize that this was a messy time. This was a time that we shouldn't go back to because she was lying and deceiving you. They kept tripling down on it. And then he's like, it was just like the conversation. I'm like, what is this conversation that we're having? Was it flubbed lines? Because Michael was like, this was happening. I was going to betray you, but then I decided I couldn't. And here's why. And so he was like, well, why would you do this? I just told you. And then he was like, I couldn't go through with it because of like Donna and Avery and the kids and da da da. And then Sonny's like, what about your sisters? I just said, what about I just said my sisters, actually. Like if you rewind 2 seconds ago for what I said my sisters. So it was like, like he just wouldn't.
He wasn't hearing anything that Michael was saying. Like everything, like Michael actually changed his mind because of the code. It was all about the family honor and keeping the family together and protecting the family. And he eventually got back to his senses about it. But it just seemed like Sonny was refusing or just reacting late.
Yeah. And again, if he was like, how dare you not have anything to do with this world, but think you can run it better than me? Like, how dare you keep Dex embedded in my org? That's one thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a thing. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be mad at him if he felt betrayed because of that. But even when he was like, "What about you? How do you think your sisters would have felt weird without a dad?" Well, they felt it already when your wife had you up the street. Did they not? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
how was your sister? I don't know. Ask your wife how she was trying to keep her daughter's mama away from her. Because your wife doesn't feel like what she did was wrong. Your wife is out here talking about how they committed a crime and so it was fine. Well, you was out here committing a crime, so is this not fine? Because this is what your wife is saying. Ask her. And this is why we're questioning your judgment because of the stupid shit your wife be saying and that you be co-signing until right now because she embarrassed you. Because I don't know if Sonny would have felt the same way about Nina and what she did to Carly if it would have been Nina who told him. It was the lowest of it all. It was the Cyrus of it all. He was embarrassed. And you know what? I resonate because the one thing about me, do not embarrass me in public. I can forgive a lot of things, but if you got me out here embarrassed in public, in front of me, we're done. And so, I resonate. That's one of the few times I ever resonated with Sunny. Can't believe you embarrassed me in public. So, like, yeah, I just felt like all the code, all the what about your sisters, what about that's the very same thing you should have asked about your wife before you married her. And again, your love is conditional. Tell us, so what kind of person sends his mom? What kind of mob boss doesn't know that there's a mole underneath his nose? Anyway, that's my Sunny read for the day.
Yeah, not catching that secret bank account in the first place. That's on you, dude.
Not keeping tabs on brand new people.
Right.
Yeah, trash. So the Jex of it all. So Dex and Joss talk. He is like, and she was like, run. And he was like, and she's like, I'm coming with you. And I said, okay, Jex. Uh, and so Joss goes to find Sonny. She ends up running into Ava, has a conversation with Ava. Sonny is at Dex's house and basically was like, well, what would you do with you? You a snitch, you a rat, what would you do? What should I do? And so Dex makes a play to stay on. Sonny says, you gotta go. Joss comes back to the house, and that brick will set you over to new life, and then all this because I'm not gonna kill you. Joss comes in, finds out he's gone, has our interaction with Sonny. How did you feel? I had all the feels. Tell me how you felt.
I felt that was poor Jocelyn, but I also felt like this was kind of like I want to say like a teenage love affair that was always going to be end in tragedy. They were very much invested and in love with one another, but it was doomed from the start. just
My
because
favorite
of
kind of love.
just because he was a mob infiltrator. and but it was very emotional because it's young love. She was in her feelings. She definitely showed those feelings. And again, the anger. I hate you. I think it's always going to be that way between Josh and Sonny. They're never going to have a
Yeah,
good relationship ever. It's
yeah.
going to be crazy. So that's why he was like, I know you always gonna hate me. Oh well. just like he just gonna and he walked away.
He was like, I know.
I know.
So, okay. Let me say again. I love a down bad lover boy. Love it. It's my thing. It's my ship. I only ship down bad lover boys. So the first time Jex talked about running away together, I was like, back in the day, I was like, oh, okay, that's cute, whatever. I I've always liked them. I thought they had really good chemistry, but the show just never really invested in them as a couple, you know? So they were like kind of for me living on chemistry alone and the fact that I really like Eden as Joss. And so I was like, well, if she's happy, if this is the relationship that she wants to be in, Joss, then like I'm rocking with it. I really didn't care too much for I mean, I didn't dislike Dex, but he wasn't like my dude. When Dex put his put that gun to his chest and was like, shoot me then. I said, this is my trope. Do it, okay? You better be a down bad lover boy. You better say I can't live without my girl. You might as well shoot me in the heart. Oh, I loved it. Like, you better give it to me.
Shoot me now. It was very dramatic.
I loved it. And I didn't even know Evan had it in him because he's such
Right.
like a little he was earlier in the day making tea for Ava and Trina, which
Yeah.
also I loved.
Right.
I really like the Trina Dex friendship. He's so caring. He was just like, you seem upset. Let me give you something to calm you down.
Hmm. But he was always like that with Trina. He was
Yeah, he
always
is.
very much differential to her, wanting
Yeah.
to, be her friend, and
Yeah.
because he knew how important Trina was to Joss. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
he's been
Hmm.
I enjoy them together. I
Hmm.
enjoy their like rapport. You know, I like all of them. Those are my babies. Joss and Trina, those are my babies. So I I loved it. And then when Joss came in and that dog tag fell, my heart fell. Okay, I'm dramatic. I am the drama. I said gasped, real life
Hmm.
gasped.
You're like,
I real life gasped. And then when she went in on Sonny, she had me on every word. I was hanging on it. She's like, I'll never forgive you. I said, me neither. I won't forgive him either. It's us. It's us against Sonny. I don't care who else loves him. We hate him. And then when Sonny walked past, I was like, I know. And then when my girl fell to her knees,
the tears, the fall to the knees, the sobs.
I
And
said,
I could predict, like, over the weekend she's sleeping on the couch, smelling his blanket, his
clutching
clothes.
the
Like, she doesn't,
letter
she crushed the letter crushed to her chest. She's
with
like,
the
I can't,
dog tags
with
around
the
her
dog.
neck.
Yes. Like, I feel like that we saw some previews for, next week, and Carly's in the apartment with her. It's probably because she stayed there the whole night crying at the loss of her first love. It's also
Well, he's not her
tragic.
first love, but
Or
yeah.
second, third, whatever.
Second, third.
Just saying,
Her man, her
when
man, her
you
man.
when you're that young, all love is the real. Every single love that you have is the real one.
Yeah, for real, for real, for real.
For real.
Her love, her love, her love. Her man, her man, her man. I was devastated for Joss. It was the fall to the knees that just really was like, I'll never forgive you, Sonny. How dare you? How dare you do this to me and my girl? And like, I do wonder. I know that her and Trina are gonna have a scene next week, and so I do hope that they are able to hold like both. Like I don't want for them to act as if like Trina's not going through anything, but I also don't want them to act like Joss is not going through anything. Both of them have kind of had their worlds upended. It's different. It's very different. The grief is different, but I do hope, and I do think that they've done a good job with them as best friends, with a really give and take. One of the things I was saying, I've was saying to Tara actually about, we know that different characters have like a different amount of guarantees, and so that's why like, we see them. Like we see Carly all the time, or we see Sunny, we see whoever. And I don't, people have guarantees. That is what it is. But the guarantees are about the episode count. It isn't about how centered you are in an episode. and I feel like that is something that we miss with both Sunny and Carly, that they are always are so centered. Even Nina, like they are so centered as opposed to being supporters. And I hope, and I don't know, I just want some of that to flip. We'll talk about it, but like this conversation that Sam had with Alexis, that could have been this conversation she had with Carly. Because like I like the Car Sam friendship because I like Carly and Sam, but it's always so one-sided. So like let's have some scenes with these people who have these high episode counts actually supporting people as opposed to like being the forefront. And so and I think that they've done a really great job of showing that balance between Joss and Trina. Like they have like I that writing, that balance between friends has really been done well between them.
I also want to do, I guess, a little postmortem on, the character of Dex. I loved
Mm.
him whenever he was talking down to Spencer and to Adam. He was hilarious. Like when he kept calling Adam, "Hey, little buddy, how can I help you?"
When he tucked Adam in and Adam was like, "Thanks, Dex."
I enjoyed it. All right, and I also enjoyed, Spencer being Spencer, having an issue with Dex, and Dex always kicking his ass, just like embarrassing him every time. I loved it.
Oh, Dex. Oh, Spencer.
Yeah, so
Um,
I'll miss Dex with that bit of comedy.
yeah, I think he'll be
Hilarious.
back. My speculation is that so basically like, he's gone, but there's still a mole in Sunny's organization.
Yeah.
And so my speculation is that they've like removed Dex or like something Dex maybe is working with Brick or whatever it is. And that they're gonna be trying to use that to like smoke out the actual like mole, and then Dex will be back. Like I don't think that we're gonna see him gone for a long period of time. So that's my speculation.
Yeah, because we haven't seen the whole confirmation from Soaps in Death or anything that Evan is gone.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone. They can't
Yeah.
afford. They can't just keep letting people go. We lost Spencer. We lost Esme, which Esme wasn't a great loss, but Avery was. Um.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think that we're losing Dex. Someone we did lose, Olivia Jerome, killed, mob hit. Bye, girl.
Did you say bye, girl?
Yes, whatever.
It's good. It's good having you. It wasn't that good having you. It just like bye.
Peace out. Um, Sam. She said Danny has a little wild side. So Sam is about to get booed up with Dante. Da da booed up. Da da with Dante on the couch. Realizes that Danny is gone. Let's also talk about Dante giving Sam a leather jacket. Um, and Danny gets brought home by the police because he was drunk and has a smart mouth. Um, and how did you feel about that? Sam was like worried about him.
I thought it was, well, at first I was like, oh, Danny's acting like a teenager. But then when she said, "You're 14," I was like, 14?
I know.
I was like, because the way, he's so tall.
Hmm.
But I always forget that the actors on that show are actually kind of short. So he's probably not that tall.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's so tall compared to them that I think of him as being almost 18.
I
So,
thought he was
so
closer. I did think he was closer to 16. I did think that.
yeah. So she was like, "You're 14 and drinking." I was like, "Oh yeah, boy, you did bad."
You can't be doing
Yeah,
that.
like, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I also did. I like the conversation of her really like coming to terms with her past and what that means as a parent to a kid. And I'm sure that a lot of people feel that way. I don't know. Maybe my mom did. I don't know. But I'm just saying, my mom did some stuff, and I didn't do any of that stuff. So I imagine how shocking it is to see yourself now and the behaviors that you did, and just trying to reckon with what that means as a parent. I thought that was a great conversation for her to have, especially in light of, well, I don't know if it was necessary to bring in the whole, well, he's so much like Jason. I'm like, no, I would have appreciated it was like, he's like me, and how do I reckon with that? Like, but I guess they're really trying to prepare Jason to come back so as to have him in our mind. I didn't think the whole bringing Jason into the conversation was necessary personally, but I see why they did it.
It wasn't necessary and it didn't make sense because the genes that Danny has are Jason Quartermain genes. And Jason Quartermain was a square. He didn't inherit the brain damage.
Right. Nature versus
So
nurture. That
you
kind
know what
of
I mean? But
thing.
he didn't inherit Jason's brain damage. So all the stuff that like Jason, like the things that she's like, oh, he's a risk taker, he's this, he's that. That was, I mean, that's AJ. That wasn't Jason. So it was just like a weird conversation to have. Anyway, I do know that there was a lot of feelings around Dante giving Sam the leather jacket. So I think that people like there were some people who felt like, oh, look at this. This is like prime. This is like J Sam signal, like the bat signal. Um, as an OG J Sammer, as a person who has loved the two of them since they started, I didn't take it that way. I actually um I like Sante. I would prefer we kept Sante. Um I'm gonna love Sam no matter what ship she's in. I always have, always will. Um, but I don't know with what they have set up with who Sam is. I don't know how she gets back with Jason. Um, and I almost felt like that Dante giving her that leather jacket. At first, I was like, "Oh my God, this is like the J Sam." Tara was calling it the J Sam starter kit. Like I was like, maybe it is that. But then I thought about it and I was like, I actually don't think it's that. I actually think it is, she burnt her leather jacket when she found out Carly and Jason were getting married. And I feel like this was almost like a rebirth of herself within the Sante relationship, as opposed to a call back to the J Sam relationship. I could be wrong. I'm wrong often. That's just not the way. Once I thought about it, I didn't really see it that way. Partly I don't know where Dom would go. Um, I think that Kelly and Dom are good together. I also don't think I mean, I haven't heard from her, but I don't think Kelly wants to be in JSAM. I think she has fond memories about it, but the last couple times that they were on screen together as Jason and Sam, it wasn't good.
I didn't take it that way either. I just thought it of Dante just knowing who Sam is and wanting to, acknowledge that and honor it. I didn't think it about Jason at all in terms of the gift. Um, so yeah. And I don't necessarily also want a triangle between Sam and Dante because I like Sante. Um, yeah, so
Same. Very, very same. I want I don't know. I mean, I know that like being in Jason's orbit means like more story, all of that. Um I'm never
I
gonna
mean,
say
I
no
think
to it. I'm never gonna say
yeah.
no to it. I'm gonna love Sam. I'm gonna love J Sam if they do it again. I'm not gonna front and lie about that. But my personal preference is to give Sante more. I like their family. I like what they've built together. I like Kelly and Dom's rapport. I like their chemistry. I think they're very cute. That's where I would like for her to stay.
Yeah, they can have interaction and they can have story. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, being a parent of a child.
It's going down in your neighborhood.
I'm trying to tell you, I live in Motorcycle Alley. Um, yeah, they can have story as being parents of a now teenage boy,
Hmm.
and that could be it.
Right.
Um, I
Agreed.
want to tell you my hot take that I had about
Please.
Sante.
Please.
So they were on the couch, and he was talking about, oh, so you were bad when you were young, and she was like, yeah, I would have eaten you for breakfast. I was like, go ahead and eat him, girl. Eat him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then they had to see.
Tanya's weekly Dante thirst is husband. Oh yeah,
I I
I
wrote
can't
it in
believe.
caps.
I
I wrote
also
it.
can't believe that I didn't do my traditional, like my like weekly Zaddy Dante and Daddy Dante. So Tanya, obviously, Zaddy Dante. Daddy, obviously Dex is coming back. He got to
Right.
bond with his daddy, Dante.
Exactly. But
Boom.
yeah, I was like, eat him, girl.
Ooh.
All caps. And it was very
Oh my God.
all caps. I was like, do it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it was off camera.
You
But
said love in the afternoon.
love in the
Um,
afternoon.
so Molly, Christina, Blaze. Molly meets Blaze. They have dinner together. She notices that there's a vibe, and she says, "What's going on there?" Anyway, fast forward. Apparently, Molly needed to tell TJ that Blaze knew Christina was pregnant, and but Blaze is also is happy that they're in a relationship. Um, that Blaze and Christina are in a relationship. Hashtag praise. And she's gonna tell her mom, who's gonna be Eva LaRue. How did you feel about the surrogacy story, basically?
Oh, I thought it was okay. It's progressing. I'm more excited to see Ava LaRue on the screen
Me too.
and what that means. Um, 'Cause I like her as an actress, and I think that it's a great match. Her being,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad for it.
I was annoyed. I don't think that Molly needed to tell TJ. That sounds stupid. um, she's like, why? For what?
Right.
Um, and then like, I don't know. I am always gonna have an issue with like a straight person trying to tell like queer people when they should come out and how their relationship should be. Like it wasn't even like like it felt too judgy to be just the concern for her sister and her being like, well, me and TJ would have had to be but that's not what you have to be now. We're talking about her, like Molly's family always accepted TJ. TJ's family always accepted Molly. This is not the same thing. And to like, I don't know, I didn't appreciate it. I understood what they were trying to do, and I understand that the parallel they were trying to make, but the way Molly was behaving, I didn't appreciate it and I didn't think was necessary.
I'm still a residual annoyance of Molly as a character, so it didn't really shock me that she would do something annoying. So
True.
I was just like, okay, fine. You be the pushy person that really doesn't understand LGBTQ issues. Go ahead. That's your role because you don't understand what issues are when it comes to black women being in jail. You don't understand,
Oh,
like so you already just don't know anything about social constructs and anything. So I'm just gonna be like, yeah, she's just being, a Karen, and I'm not shocked by it. So I let it float off of me like I do everybody else. So
all right. Well, moving forward, quick fast forwarding rather. We did have some Valentine's Day love in the afternoon. Milo, Chillin, and Purtis. Um, Portia and Curtis have finally consummated their marriage, I guess. Um, whatever.
one thing I didn't like about Purtis was like, let's celebrate our marriage for real. And I was like, you just made it that much less romantic by making that declaration. He could have like they could have like kind of like slowly, been a little bit more subtle. I mean, making it obvious but not making a whole declaration about it. I was just like, okay. But yeah, I'm glad for them as a couple that they consummated their marriage. I
I have,
liked that. I liked that there was some love in the afternoon. Three couples.
yeah,
So three couples got lucky on Valentine's Day, as it should be.
There you go.
But yeah, it's
Don't
all
get
right.
pregnant because we want no more Scorpios. Um, Spixie Rising. I'm
That's so
excited and I'm happy.
cute. They are
Um,
so cute.
I love it.
Yes.
So Lucy wanted a girls' day, took everyone to the Savoy, and Spinelli and your fave Cody show up.
You know I had a hot take about that. Like,
Tell me.
why is Cody hanging out with Spinelli socially? What happened to Spinelli's hatred on site? I'm upset.
They need more friends on the show, so they said, "Here we go."
No.
Um, yeah. So, they were, Sodi, Cody and Sasha, were playing kind of matchmaker to Spixie, Spinelli and Maxie. Um, and yeah, they just talked about it. It was cute. I don't really have much to say beyond it being really cute. I love the kind of blended Spixie family. Um, I love that he is close to her other kids. James, like the fact that they like she was explaining that James had this like crush on but on the babysitter, but the people had called Spinelli. Like I've always liked them. I've liked their rapport. And I think what is interesting now is the different story they're telling. I do wonder if they're I want them to have a story and I want it to be different than Milo. Like I want it to be different than like look at us raising our kids together because that seems to be Milo's lane. Um but what I do like is I know that you don't, but I do like the kind of double dating aspect. I do like building the friend group of it. Um, I'm hoping we get like just some more like action adventure from them. Um, so like grown up Spixie. I'm excited for that. I've always been a Kirsten Storm fan. Oh yeah, y'all, we still got to get Tanya to see Xenon. Um, and both of those actors won it. And what is better than having a pairing that both of the actors are like passionate about and care about? So give me Spixie.
Yeah, and I think Kirsten Storms actually looked great in that romantic mode.
I
Like
did too.
I loved it for her.
Yeah.
Um and yeah. So I mean I don't mind them. I don't mind them double dating. I just wish it was some
I
other person outside of Cody. Like if
know.
they inserted another man. Speaking of, I have one more hot take. So
Mm.
when Spinelli and Cody were at the bar, there was a couple behind them, a black couple. The guy was fine. I was like, who is that
Let
dude?
me go
I
back and look
kept
at
looking.
that.
I was like, because it was like you remember there was they had some scenes in the Savoy, and we were looking at the other people in the background because they were having some sort of conversation, and everyone we thought it was really they were really funny and entertaining. You don't remember that?
I remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was paying attention to that background. That one guy was just like hecka cute. I was like, "Oh, hey, who are
Okay.
you? What's your story?" And he was having
Let's
an
look.
he was having an animated conversation.
He said,
Um,
"This is my time."
this is right. They may not be focused on me, but I'm back here, and so I'm having this conversation. And I thought he was cute.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Um, and then I have Vanna and Valentina. Um, so Vanna had like an interaction. I thought it was weird. It was like him like congratulating her about being commissioner, and then like kind of asking about Charlotte, and then him going to be Captain Save-A-Ho to Nina against Drew. Hated it.
and him not wanting to tell her about Charlotte either. I was
Even though
like,
he brought it up.
right. Like, why don't you give her an update? Why are you being selfish with the information? Because she's with Helena.
So
You can't tell her.
that's funny. So let me say this, that I hated Valentine when he first came on. Hated him all through Valentina. It wasn't until Vanna and like the friend build to Vanna, where they were working together, that I even gave that man a second look. it's nothing to revert back to Valentine hate. I like
I
JPS a lot.
uh
A lot. I'm sure that he hates not being in Vanna, but Boro, you out here playing with Nina, it's nothing to go back to hating you.
I don't feel the same about Valentine as a character. I actually always found him entertaining and liked him a lot. But
Bro shot Kevin. Absolutely not.
I know he shot Nicholas. He did a
That
lot
was
of
kind of
bad
fake
stuff.
Nicholas,
I know, but he did a lot of bad things. But I still liked him. So you
I
know,
get it.
it's fine. But yeah, I agree. It's not as exciting as being in the Vanna relationship. So
No.
I'm here for you on that.
Well, that's every story. Do you have any hot takes outside of that story? That's so funny that now that we do it this way, I put all my hot takes in the
In the conversation,
yeah.
yeah.
Look at that.
Um, us being efficient. What? I kept thinking just the irony. I was just thinking about the scenes between Sonny and Dex and just the irony. It seems like everybody's forgotten that Sonny hung Dex up in a meat hook. So I'm just like, I would have never forgiven Sonny for that.
How many times you gonna try to kill bro?
Right?
Not
So,
enough.
yeah, that was the only thing that I didn't talk about already.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, let's get
Oh, but
into it. Oh,
we did not talk about Ava and Sonny's relationship.
oh, I skipped
They
it on
are
purpose. You're right.
they are getting closer.
They are. She's the only person he can trust. And now that we know, like, these mob bosses are getting taken out,
Mm-hmm.
it does make you wonder. I did love Ava's reaction to her sister being dead. She's like, yeah, whatever. Um,
Or no, when Alexa was like, "I'm sorry for your loss," and Ava was like, "Really? I'm sure
are
you're
you
thinking
though?
about what's like, are you though?"
Uh,
So that was funny.
yeah. So I do wonder if like the target is on both Ava and Sunny. I also wonder with the targeting, um, if and it, like now that we know it was Sunny that they were going after, if that's gonna be anything with Curtis because of any fallout. So, but no, I didn't talk about the relationship because I was disgusted. But please, if you have something,
I mean, it's interesting. I'm not disgusted by it. It's
I don't
interesting because
want
I
it.
always thought, Sunny and Ava scenes are really like they're very emotionally volatile, and now they're kind of calming a bit. I like it when they fight, but they haven't been fighting, so it's just more interesting.
The only thing I want is maybe for Ava to sleep with Sunny so that Nina would be sad.
Yes, I would. I'm also looking forward to that whole Nina being jealous of Ava,
Hmm.
right? And then Ava just talking smack about her, be like, "I told you you shouldn't have done this."
There we go.
But yeah, I would like a fissure between the Nina and Ava relationship.
Mm.
And Ava would steal her man and not think anything about it. So
And I love it. I love her
that
for
is
it.
the come up that Nina needs,
Eh,
basically.
I would love it. Well, let's get into previews for next week. Um, Monday. Jocelyn is determined. Valentine makes an announcement. We know from a preview for next week that the announcement is that Valentine bought the invader. So he is going to go talk to Alexis about it, and we will see how that plays into the story with Nina. Tracy feels slighted. Curtis comforts Trina. Stella helps Marshall get answers.
Answers are what?
I don't know. Tuesday, Anna makes a proposal to Cyrus. Jordan is surprised. Portia is rocked by Curtis's admission. Sonny rebuffs Dante. Valentine counsels Nina. Wednesday, Ava and Sonny confront their past. Nina makes a revelation to Carly and Drew. Trina encourages Jocelyn. Felicia helps Lucy. Spinelli confides into Cody. Thursday, Sonny and Selena put their heads together.
Selena's
Maxie,
back.
yeah. Maxie and Spinelli share a close moment. Carly and Drew are at odds. Shocking. Um, Jagger thwarts Anna and Dante. Sasha commends Cody. Friday, Sam opens up to Elizabeth. Gregory presses Tracy. Sonny makes a big decision. Christina and Blaze share a romantic evening. TJ is concerned.
What you got to be concerned about?
Who even knows? Oh, God. Well, that's the week. It is Sunday. We have shifted. I am off to listen to some Beyonce country music and try to learn the line dance. This ain't Texas.
Ah.
um, you know,
Yeah, that's the
um,
thing to do.
there we go. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you for commenting. And thank you to all those who wish me happy birthday. I really
Oh, yeah.
appreciate it.
Yes. Bye, y'all.